How's the vibes around the team now? Looking back to the win last weekend and now head to KC in the Western Conference semifinals.
Yeah, just nice to get some time away. It was obviously an intense 3 weeks in that series. So, really today just getting back, getting the body moving a little bit. There's obviously still some time before the game, so it's just about getting out there today. So,
How much does it help? I mean, you're familiar with a lot of teams
sure.
around the league, but KC especially.
Yeah.
You guys have had some close matches. How much does that help? And as far as game planning ahead, I was asking Ben about this. Do you dive right into it first day, or
Sure.
He says it's drip by drip, but
Yeah.
just thoughts. Heading up.
I've played against. They have had a core that's been around for a long time, so I know those guys really well and played against them many times in former teams. So, but they have some new wrinkles, and it's not today. It's not really on the radar to prepare for KC. Like I said, these 3 days will just be about getting up to speed and seeing the ball again, and then we'll slow down, and then next week will be like the build up. So, a little bit of a slower pace this week.
How have you seen Griffin grow over the course of the season, specifically as a defender?
Yeah. Obviously, he's I think one of the stories in the MLS, and he should be. What he brings to our team with his pace, the amount of ground he covers. His strength. He's a real force to be reckoned with in the way he plays. So it's really fun. He's a great guy, a friend of mine, and so I'm just really happy for him.
It seems like he's come out of his shell a little bit too, just over the course of time that he's been in Houston. Just how have you seen that personality work?
Yeah, I think it's because he grew his hair back long. He had long hair and then he cut it, and now he's growing it back long. That's kind of like he's like Samson from the Bible with his hair. But yeah, players break out at different times in their career, and obviously he's in one. And I think consistency will be the key for him. And he's been consistent, so it's been fun to watch.
If you have Casey, any ideas coming out with scissors?
Yeah, exactly. Leave his hair alone.
Steve, what was it? Is it more important just a mental break you talked about?
Sure.
This 3 weeks, or is it more important physically? Just
Yeah, there's some guys probably both, and some guys they want a mental or physical. I think for me it's more mental. I think one of the misunderstandings about performance is that there has to be off time to be on, so all of our work really is about 90 minutes plus stoppage time. On the 25th or the 26th there. So that's all. You know what I mean? So it's whatever it takes to get those 90 minutes to perform and execute in those 90 minutes is what you have to do. So it's just about that. So those 90 minutes. That's it. That's all this is about. So these next 2 weeks is just preparing for that, and for me, it's a little slower at my age, and then build up later. So
there was a moment looking back on the Real Salt Lake series and the two shootouts. The first moment, it was your turn last in goal.
Yeah.
Griffin handed you the ball, or Griffin, you had a conversation. Then it swapped, roles reversed.
Yeah.
Griffin was the last to shoot. You had a conversation. Can you explain what that conversation was in both instances, and how did that help?
Yeah. I think so. Both Griff and I have meditation practices. So, we kind of talk about meditation or share podcasts or whatever. So I can't really tell you what I remember, but I think I said something like, "Oh, what a great moment." And that wasn't really talking about the result of the penalty kick. It was just a moment walking up there. It was like, let's just enjoy this moment in time. So I think that's what I said, but it was pretty chaotic. So.
You talk about meditation. How does that help you stay focused? And is that something that you've rubbed off onto him, or is that something he had on himself?
Yeah, meditation. I think we're probably separate, but also come together to talk about it. Yeah, for me, it's just I have a very active brain that can be really good for some things, and then also focusing as a goalkeeper, it can be a hindrance. So to harness the power of my thinking is really important for me. My wife can tell you that too. It's like I'm not very productive at home sometimes because I'm daydreaming. But meditation is a great practice, I think, for anyone to get more present. And I think we get sometimes lost in our thoughts and stories in your head. And, the present moment is probably all that's real because it's now. So it's you know, really a part of my spiritual life for sure.
You talk to your coaches obviously all the time, but how often do you talk to Pat? I mean, he's been in your shoes.
Sure.
And do you get advice from him? Do you talk to him, bounce things off of him, or?
Well, you know, Pat and I, obviously, Pat coached me in Columbus, and we had a lot of years there. Pat and I even kept in touch after I left Columbus. You know, there's times where we have conversations in the off season, but you know, our friendship and you know, kind of like him being a mentor to me has taken a little bit of a distance because he's the general manager, and those are boundaries that I try to respect. And so, but having said that, like we have a relationship. You know, Pat's somebody that the reason why I came here, that's very clear. You know, someone that I'll always be very, you know, close with professionally and even personally with his wife, and talking about being a dad, we talk about that a lot. But, you know, within the sport, you know, he's my boss, you know, so that is an important boundary to keep, so.
Good. Any on Zoom? Or are we good? All right. Thanks,
All right,
Steve.
yeah.